Hello and welcome to another Cheese-E-Pedia update. It has been 8 months since the previous video update, and there have been a lot of major changes, including a brand new one from yesterday or the day before that I would like to discuss on this. So, assuming you're someone who has only seen the previous video on updates, there have been a lot of changes. Things may look a little different. Of course, the first major difference is the logo has been completely redesigned. This is called the Community Garden logo. And the themes that were present, I might have mentioned them in the previous video. There are themes on this website. You can do standard, dark, light, etc. The logo is fit now for all of these themes. This is the original colors of the classic logo. We have Showbiz. Oh, there we go. We have Five Nights at Freddy's, we have Italy, and because we have a holiday section now, there are the holiday themes. So this is the current Halloween/October theme right now. But lots has changed since then. We're going to be going over that. First, let's go to the contributor home, go to the new Cheese-E-Pedia section. A lot of the about sections and news sections have all just been moved into this one giant article that you can read. But yeah, a lot has changed. I think the last one was at the end of January. So from then, we have mobile CSS and styling has been completely fixed since then. You can browse the site on mobile just fine now because there was a lot of issues with that previously. Lots of stuff was fixed. There's a lot of things in the background. A lot of articles have been fixed over time. A lot of missing photos were fixed, stuff like that. We updated recent changes. A lot of the homepage has just been kind of cleaned up a little bit more. Formatting for like end dates has changed. Again, if you're an editor, you know what that was, but made editing basically easier. And the biggest thing was on July 22nd, we had moved from HTML to Markdown. So now when you use the editor, you're not having to learn HTML tags. It's pretty basic Markdown you would find on any other site you've used text with. And now it used to be, I guess I can show it if we were to edit this page. We'll go into decap. It used to display a live preview on the side window. Now it is just one whole thing. Actually, this one's not doing it right. I think it's just because it's a meta page. But most pages should properly show this with like the formatting done. And I think there might be an example in here. We have also added, I guess there's no citations on this page. That's not convenient. Let's go to this random page. That's not helpful. Let's go to a page I worked on, Chuck E. Cheese Adventure World, one of the more recent ones. We just added a bunch of sources and art about it. If we go in and edit this, citations have now changed. So, there we go. They now can be formatted like a short code, like when you do wiki links and whatnot. And then it automatically will send you down to the bottom of the page in the references section. So, much easier. Also, for location articles and stuff, tons more of these little boxes and such have been added. But also, if we go to something like the Galaxy 5000, on this page, we now have a sales category you can create. This is for market sales, but also, I guess, in-store sales, but those don't usually change over time. So this is mainly just for market sales. So you can see for this, we have 2 data points of 1999 and 2004. The original VHS sold for $12. And recently, this VHS has gone between $50 and for some reason, someone bought it for $425. That seems like money laundering, but okay. I mean, you can see the spike on this is ridiculous. So there's a few of these pages that have been tracked like this. It's not a requirement. It's just a cute little thing to see how insane the market can be. And all of these links go back to the Wayback Machine because obviously eBay will just erase these after, like, I think 3 months. So, of course, when you do submit any of these, you need to archive the page first. That can be a little tedious sometimes, but it's worth it. I'm trying to think. I think some of the formatting has changed on these, like the download links now show up. Dates, I think, changed a little bit under there. Mainly just superficial stuff. But the main thing I want to talk about, I want to go ahead and get to it before I start talking about other things, is the forums. We now have forums available on here. I'll actually just go to a different tab here. Right there. This is the forums. So Cheese-E-Pedia has always been on Discord since before Cheese-E-Pedia even existed. It was the Pizza Time Text Discord. Now it's the Cheese-E-Pedia Discord. But there's always been kind of issues with being on Discord compared to something like this. The actual site was originally on Mirahaze, a media wiki hoster, and there were always a lot of issues with that site. You couldn't customize a lot of things. It wasn't, you could archive it, but only admins could archive the site. I didn't like all the account features on it. It was built for a different purpose than what Cheese-E-Pedia needed. So Cheese-E-Pedia got moved to a Hugo site where it is fully open source on GitHub. You can go on here and just pull the code. You can rehost Cheese-E-Pedia now because it's a static site. I wanted to make it a simple thing. Because it's static, you can just go on DigitalOcean or other platforms, and you should just be able to host it for free. I'm hosting it for free. I who knows how many page views I get on it, but you know it's free no matter what because of how little it runs. And it's easy to do pull requests. Like I have 2 open right now. Someone's trying to change this show. I can just go in and review it. I can send them comments and stuff. So this has always been helpful. The Discord is kind of in a similar boat right now, where it's fine. I could have stayed on Mirahaze because a lot of people use the wiki on Mirahaze. Probably not a lot of people who were editing the articles in the best format and quality, and we really probably could have put more moderation on that. It was a lot of people. We lost a lot of people moving to Hugo, but it was worth it. I'm about principles. It's good to have it open source, archivable. Anyone can fork it so that it's always going to be preserved on the internet. The Mirahaze site had, within its first few months, had lost all of its data because one of the drives on the Mirahaze servers died, and it's just gone. And thankfully we got it back, but anything could happen. So this was always the best outcome for the wiki, and I'm now satisfied for it. But with this, I wanted to eventually move it. So compared to Discord, what are the differences? One actually starts as a forum. It is intended for this, and I guess I'll get into this in a bit. I have separated users that can post on the forum, like as if it was a Reddit or something, and people who can live chat as if it was a Discord. But the main things are, again, it's archivable. It's not necessarily open source like the wiki, but I can at least download it. You cannot download anything on Discord. That Discord server is also probably like a terabyte in how much we used it. So Discord, most Discord servers are like that. They're gigantic, and they won't let you archive it at all. But also user accounts on here. If you go to your user account, you can back up all of your posts and data on individually just for yourself on here. So I already think that's already a major improvement. Second is Discord is a giant company that wants your money. They beg you for nitro. They beg you for, the server boosts so you can have infinite emojis and whatnot, and a bunch of features no one cares about. People's profiles are full of all this stuff they paid for to add to it. It's not fun. That stuff can be free. That's just their business model. I moved to this. I can add infinite emojis on here now. I get 100 on that server. I think that's a big draw for me, at least is the infinite emojis. But I can also customize it. This looks completely different. I can set my own plugins. So one good thing is, again, I had mentioned you can use GitHub for the wiki. You can use that same GitHub account, because there was a lot of people that are in this community were not coders. They were not someone who had ever made a GitHub account before, and it felt a little arbitrary. That GitHub account can now be used to log in and sign up for this as well. And it has integrations. We have not fully implemented them yet because this is still pretty young. But it looks like you can have your code contributions be marked like as badges and such. So that's pretty cool. There might... I don't know, there might be a way of just like linking the GitHub profiles on the accounts that just kind of seamlessly makes it all fit together. You just have one GitHub account that manages everything to do with Cheese-E-Pedia. So I think that's good. Another thing is that these are searchable on the internet. I'm going to pull up another page so I'm not just having a blank screen show up. We got some reactions to some AI slop that had happened with Chuck E. Cheese. It's pretty bad right now. But these are searchable on the internet. The one thing is this is the major thing. Discord does not let you search anything just from a website. It is horribly annoying. And it means tons of interesting conversations that we have had on that server cannot just be discovered by some random person. And I think that was one of the fun things of back in the fandom's day when we had the Retro Pizza Zone forums, that you could search topics on here and find weird things people were talking about. And even if you join the Discord, you have to, you have to look for individual messages. It's kind of a continuous stream of conversation. It doesn't work that well. But these can now be, alongside the wiki itself, be posted on, when you're searching on Google. I don't know, this is like, I'm asking about Chuck E. Cheese Adventure World. You'll get the article that's already on there. If you look it up, you can see the article immediately for it. But you may see this forum post, you'll be able to see people talking about it and such. And I think that's important for discoverability because this fandom is extremely niche. And I am always trying to lower the barrier for people to jump into it. And I guess the next thing is our Discord server was 18 plus, not for any content reasons, but it was adults only, because safety concerns with minors. Not that I couldn't enforce anything on the site, but Discord lets anyone's DMs be open. You can't just disable letting people direct message each other or friend each other or whatnot, or find each other on other servers and such. So there was that safety concern. We had originally had it at like 16, and then we eventually just moved it to adults because we were like, but that didn't add a huge toll on the wiki, because then if some 13, 14-year-old wanted to edit an article, there's some article they know about Chuck E. Cheese Adventure World they want to add to the recent news that's come out, then they have, if they don't really know what they're doing, they have no one to contact. I don't put an email or anything on this site for support or anything. So, you go to join the server, you'd say, oh, you're not an adult, banned, or kicked. And there's nothing you can do. So I think it's fair to have these forums be, 13 plus, whatever I know like most social media, I think it's just like a legal thing. You can't have anyone under 13. I think that's completely fair. I don't think it needs to be 9-year-olds posting on a forum anyways. But teenagers can then go on here. They can go to the wiki section. If you go over here, there's a few sections we have right here, and these are all the recent posts that's been made. You can go to the wiki, and you can ask. Some people asked about. We got another moderator doing a Civeltia. That we're gonna be moving from decap, our editor, to a different one when it's ready soon. You could ask your support questions here. We could help you out, and it's public. It's not gonna be. No one's gonna be messaging you or anything. I've disabled being able to view emails or personal message people on here, so you can just post on here and people can publicly discuss with you. I think that's good because this fandom, given its targets, have people from 40 years old to young teenagers visiting it, and that was just always kind of something we had to push off. Just like, no, we're the adults. If you're a kid, go away or find another server, and that's not always good. There was not really a lot of better options, and Discord isn't good at moderating things, so I don't trust them that those servers were, squeaky clean. Whichever ones they were, there were tons of them. So I think this is at least a little bit better for that. So it lets people, it makes it easier also, not everyone wants to join a Discord, but an open internet forum can be nicer. So it's just a lot of little things that kind of eventually maybe decide, yes, this should be the end of it. If you've been following Cheese-E-Pedia for a bit, there were other attempts at this. I had started a forum under a different service like last year, I think, and it kind of fell apart because I didn't set up the email client right, so no one could join. It was kind of broken. I didn't know a lot about forum software, so it was not the best choice, and it didn't have a live chat, and this one does. And I guess real quick, I can show the live chat. So it just appears down here. You can go to like general. This is us discussing a bunch of stuff. There's different channels you can join or not join. So, I mean, it's basically just Discord on here, and then you got the forums right here. But yeah, so I think this was just the best call for what it is, and we can go from there. Additionally, plans for the future on this forum are integrating it into the site, because I do want that. So we did have a news section down here. I can just go to it in the other section. I think the previous video we had just started animatronic news. Let's see. Oh no, we'd had it for a month. So we've done a few things here, but it is extremely laborious to, with how decap works, create articles on here, and it's almost kind of like, I don't know, I already have to then repost the same information to the actual articles on the site. It's weird making a separate one for an announcement, which is nice because it can be put on the homepage, but there's a lot of news that's missed on here compared to me going on the Discord and just saying, hey, new thing came out. You know, the last one was September. There's been so much stuff that's happened just this month that's not on there. So plan is probably not use that anymore. And we're going to get the news section here and just kind of paste it in right here. And that way, that also is a way to integrate in the forum. Maybe a way of linking user count somehow. I'm not sure. Possibly just letting users let you click on their name. It'll show you where they are on the forum and vice versa. Maybe. We'll see about that. Also another update to this was that we now have colors for all the based on how many contributions you've made. So there's supposed to be a bronze and silver tier, but no one's gotten to that. I'm a league above even anonymous. We also had a bunch of IP addresses from Wiki. Those have just now been compiled into this anonymous user. So 300 articles were anonymous. And you can still contribute as anonymous, I guess, though they can just trace back to your GitHub submission. So it's not really anonymous, but if you want it to be. But yeah, so the plan is to integrate it more, put more things on there. And also, when you click on a page, let's say Billy Bob Interactive Animation, that's the one I'm actually going to be working on tonight. This should be updated and looking better soon. Having a button right here that says forums or whatnot, and then it's letting you it'll just send you to a page where it's already searched, you know, like here. This is an example I had tried, Arlington, Texas, in the search bar, and it will pull up anything that has that. We may also do it with tags, so we can tag a page based on its forum article. We're not sure yet. I'm thinking this would work better, but we're going to see how the implementation goes for that. So yeah, that's the plans for this. I think this will be better. There's going to be a lot of pushback. There has been to, you know, shifting from an easy platform like Discord to something like this. But I care about this for the long run, and I already don't like how long we've been on Discord with all of its restrictions, so it has been plenty of time. I think I want to move. And just like with Hugo, switching to Hugo, that might reduce a few users. I understand that. There are people who will probably not want to be on the forums, but I think the discoverability aspect of this, there will be new people who join these forums. They will discover it. They will sign on. It's an easier way to sign in. It's not as annoying as Discord, especially with Discord doing the whole age verification thing. And especially me, I'm not someone who wants to put my driver's license, especially because Discord just got hacked and had a lot of those licenses leaked from when they were testing it. So that's great. But a lot of sites now are trying to move to verify by ID, and a lot of people are not going to want to join our Discord because of that eventually. So I think for discoverability, this is a good route, and I hope the people who used to be on Cheese-E-Pedia when it had a lower age gate that were kicked out. There was like 300 of them, I think, got kicked out or something. I can't remember. It was a lot of people. If they can use the forums on here, and that's a way to bring more people together, because there still needs to be kind of a central place. I don't like that the fandoms necessarily spread across a bunch of Discord servers, a Reddit, bunch of YouTube channels, Instagram, stuff like that. It was more welcoming a community when everyone was mostly on Tapatalk, the Retro Pizza Zone forums. That was fun. So, and I'm not saying you can't also be on that. I just think it would also be cool to have a central place that's also so heavily linked to the main website. I think that'll make it easier for people to collaborate on working together on stuff. And again, visibility for these kind of things. I hope it brings more people in and gets them interested. So that's mainly the updates for this. I think that's most of what we've done. Most of the best things that have been added to this wiki since I last discussed were the actual articles themselves. We have done tons of work to refine things. Oh yeah, the articles. There is one additional thing that is vitally important I update on, because we don't have any location articles anymore. That was a big thing. So these buttons indicate they don't have pages. These indicate they do, and they say edit page. So a month or two ago, we cleared out every single location page. If you are someone who used the wiki, you might have noticed this. They're not technically fully cleared out. They still have their thumbnail. They still have their info box data. They still have their gallery, stuff like that. Contributors, all those things. The actual article itself has been wiped. And that is because when we were on Mira Hayes, I knew I was going to regret this later, but I was in the mindset of, we have so many articles, let's just pump through as many as we can and we'll fix it later. And a few people dedicated a lot of their time doing all 1,000 pages. Like a good chunk of these were almost all done. But they also cut a lot of corners to get that done, and they did not provide a lot of sources. And it has been a constant complaint for a while that Cheese-E-Pedia had very, very inaccurate location articles. All our other articles are generally pretty good. Maybe a few are not cited well because they're old, but right now most of them are pretty good. The locations were an absolute mess, and it was not fun to sift through them. So we cleared them all. And we changed how they work. Location articles are now much more strict. We now manually review them. I review the citations. I double check that everything is accounted for. And things are moved into new places. So I'll show that here. With Concord, if you saw an original Cheese-E-Pedia article, you would see that this tagline hasn't changed. You know, the tagline that tells you as much as you can. There would be like a stages section, and then a general history section, and then an animatronics section, which is still here. This is new. Stuff like that. It would go through like a remodel section. Sometimes it would change up. That has been removed. It is now most of it is just the history section. And I'm very particular about what becomes this history, because if you read any previous article, it would start as, this store opened this time. It opened with this stage. In this year, it got this stage. In this year, it got this stage. In this year, it got this stage. And then it died at the end. And that's not actually the history of the location. I don't think that's fun or relevant to type that out. So now, which this isn't the best example because it's an old location, but these things have begun moving to here. Actually, I think the best one is, what was it, Coleraine, I think? This one? Nope, the other one. Other Coleraine. Here we go. So stages are now in the info box. They tell you when it started, when it ended, because sometimes you would assume it ends at the next one starting. There's a lot of cases where it wasn't. So, those are just now instantly accessible. You're like, I wonder which animatronics were at this. Instead of having to like read through all this text to find out which stage was here, it's like, boom, it was a classic stage and there was concept unification. It's a Rock-afire. It's a 3-stage. Boom. Same thing with remodels. You now know immediately which remodels it had which year or specific date the remodel finished in. So that's, I don't know, I just love having that immediate accessibility. Store numbers have been moving more to this. They were always kind of there, but a lot of them didn't have it. Floor space is now a new one. There's additional things. You can get franchisees in here, which is a brand new thing we've never really archived. So you can see which companies or individuals own these locations, or if there isn't anything stated, then it's likely a corporate-owned store. So I think that's a good one to do. And then also the attractions section. So we can actually, let's go back to this. So these are now parameters, just like the info box. This and the animatronics are auto-generated. So that way it's always the same format, or I can change it if I want to. So, because there was some inconsistencies, so you just, in the parameter, type character operation serial status, and do that for each one. And that way it's all organized. And then same thing with here. These are for arcades and such. And that way we can auto-link them to pages if need be. Most of these don't auto-link because this was from building plans, and they all have weird names like Puppet Show, and we think that's Bimbo 3-Ring Circus, not sure. So, but that way we can also set like which days it appeared, or how long it lasted in the store, because there's so much footage of stores, and I always want to encourage, if someone loves their store so much and they want every last minute piece of data archived on it, I'm sure when its game packages would change out would be one of those things. So, and that may start including like artwork and stuff. I don't know if I want to take it that far, but we'll see. So, it's much more compact. All of the history section is actual notable things. So here it actually talks about the first and second floor where you'd find things. But then it mentions, I believe it's in this one, that a commercial was filmed at the location. These characters got replaced. Then the assistant manager of the store won the Pizza Times Name That Newsletter contest. So I'm trying to let the history section be actual notable moments from staff, the store itself, managers, whatnot, or weird changes that don't fit into here that actually matter. I don't want fluff to be in there. And there will be some fluff. It is a history section. It wants to restate it opened here, it closed here, and what it turned into. It says it's a gym now. That's fine. But this has significantly cut out the fluff. So that's the plan. There's only a few locations done. I'm personally wanting to go through from where they start and individually do each one as we go. I think some of the last ones, like the newest one, like the Chuck E. Cheese Adventure World, I did this article, these will be done. But yes, it will take a long time for our articles to be re-brought back to what they were supposed to be. But at least all the photos and everything are still there. So because of how inaccurate those things were, I think nothing was lost in this exchange. But also, if you need those previous articles, I'm someone who wants to archive everything that ever has happened. So you can go to the newspaper or the news page for this, and right here in this link, it will bring you to, we just moved all the articles to a different folder that doesn't compile with the site. And you can just click on it and view every single one. They are markdown files, so GitHub auto-generates the formatting for them. Well, not that one. One that actually shows something. Maybe this one? There's a lot of blank ones. Here we go. So it still formats all the tables and everything, right? You may just see all the parameters raw, but still accessible if you need it. I don't think anyone's needed it, but I'm particular like that. So, but yeah, that is the current updates on Cheese-E-Pedia. I hope I hope you will like the forums. I will make them good. I want to integrate them well. And I'm not going to do any major changes outside of these. It was always my intention to move to hosting Cheese-E-Pedia and to host the site we used to communicate working on Cheese-E-Pedia. That was always the intention. I just never had the time, money, ability to do those things at the very beginning. So the only other change is moving from decap to Sveltia for our backend for editing, because that's also been issues. But that was kind of its own thing. Otherwise, I'm not going to be moving constantly. This is what I want it to be. So, anyways, I'm done rambling. I hope this was a nice update video and that you enjoyed it. Please contribute to Cheese-E-Pedia. We need more contributors. We have a lot of very nice regulars. We got a bunch of transcriptions done. We have 141 transcriptions now. For accessibility, I've pushed this. I want people who have, I have hearing issues when listening to like music. I can't necessarily always hear what they're saying. Or just anyone who literally can't listen or needs help. All of these are being transcribed for you. It's also, again, searchability. You can now search. This was never accessible. If you want to search, maybe we gotta add a lot more, but if you want to search a certain line from a show tape that a character said, because you're wanting to write the article about their character and their personality, you can now cite one of these transcriptions and you have an actual article to read. So I think this is good. So we have a lot of good regulars that are working constantly, but it's not enough. We need a lot more people, because there's a lot of articles, there's a lot of topics, there's a lot of stuff I see from news that I just have to watch pass by, and I'm like, man, I didn't make an article on that because I don't have the time for everything. I'm trying to keep up with the major things, again, like Adventure World, but there's a lot, and we need a lot of help. So hopefully this forum is a little bit easier for you to get on and help us with, and I'm willing to work with anyone that is willing to help on this, because I want this to be something that people can properly use as a nice wiki. And I think we've gotten there in a lot of ways, but there is still a lot that is missing from here. So, all right, that's all. I will see you next time there is something important. Maybe that's tomorrow. Maybe that's another 8 months from now. We'll see. But see ya.